all the auto balancing features off. All right, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the eyedropper tool. It's an RGB indicator. It will read RGB levels. If I look up here where it says RGB, I can see the numbers, and when the exposure goes up and down, those numbers are very sensitive. They will go up and down. So if the exposure is too dark or underexposed, these numbers will be dark or lower. If it's overexposed, these numbers will be higher than our target aim. Okay, so our target aim is to take and get about 140, 140, 140 on these RGB numbers, plus or minus about 5 or 10. Okay, so that's where we need to be. And if you check this, you can make sure that your exposure is always on. All right. Now you can also check and see if your exposure is off. Like I'm looking at it right now, and it looks like 113, 113, 113. So I know I'm a little bit too dark. All right. And so what I want to do is take another exposure, and we're going to look at that. I'm going to cancel this, minimize Photoshop. We're going to bring up the camera tools. I'm going to change my exposure a little bit here to what I think it ought to have. That was on F13. I'm going to go to F11, and I'm going to shoot one. Now I've already got my camera on there, out of focus. It's not out of focus. It's on the manual focus mode, so that it won't go in and out when I'm trying to take a picture of this gray card. I haven't changed the camera and gray card at all, and I'm going to take a picture of that by hitting the shoot button. All right, there I got another picture. I look over here, and instantly now I can tell that it's dark because I can see that it's dark, and I forgot that my fill light has been unplugged. Now, if I made a mistake and left my fill light out, or my fill light was not operating properly, by dragging that dark image into Elements, and I'll do that, I'll be able to read that gray, and I'll know whether I'm going to take these all off in auto. Okay, please remember to do that, because you're not going to get a correct reading. I'm going to say, oh, wait a minute, something's up. I'm at 89, 89, 89. I'm supposed to be at 140, 140, 140. I know that that's underexposed. And I don't care if that was a person's face that was really bright. I really don't care about that. I'm looking at the value of this gray, which is a known value that we have. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn that off again. Now that I got my fill light back on, I've upped my exposure to F11. Let's shoot one at that and see what that reads as far as the RGB values. Okay, so once again, I'm coming over here. I'm going to minimize these programs. I'm going to look for my newest exposure. And I can tell it's just a little bit lighter than the first one. Drag it over on Adobe again. You can see that it's quite a bit lighter. Make sure that you turn those autos off. Now, I do not know how to make sure that they're always off, but you might be able to figure that out. Take that eyedropper up here in the left-hand corner again. Drag the eyedropper down. Now I'm at 133, 133, 133. Now that's almost in the tolerance range. What I need to do is I can reach over, pull my light in just a little bit if I want to get real technical about it, and that might make up the difference. So we'll try it again. Now we could do this a lot of times. You don't need to really drive yourself nuts with it. A couple of times usually is adequate. You guys, most of you set up with a chain or X marks the spot, and they're usually pretty close. But this will ensure that anywhere you go, any bulbs you use, if I send you a new main light, you have a new power pack, I get people saying, well, it must have been that new power pack. Well, I don't want to hear that as an excuse. I want to know that you got the right exposure by using these tools that you're given. Okay, what I'm going to do now is after we got our gray balance and our exposure all set, I need to show you how to set up your macro program. They're all installed on the computers. Some of you already use them. The macro, what it's going to do is it's going to automate the entry of the person's name, except for the fact they still have to type it. All right.